Well, I didn't expect it to go like this.
I blew $400 and I just wasn't ready. I'm just heartbroken.
Welcome back to Komodo Vlogs, and we're here to talk about the reality of learning to ride. I decided to take the 4-day Harley class. That way I could still go to my 9-to-5 job and take the evening classes, meaning there would be 2 days of in class and 2 days out on the range where you're actually practicing on the bikes. Day 1 was just a classroom day, or so I thought. The first evening I arrived, I was super nervous. I got there like literally an hour early, just in case. To say I'm nervous would be an understatement. Today is just a class day. All I have to bring with me are my riding boots, and I'm not even worried about failing. If I fail, okay, big deal. Passing would be great. I think I'm really just nervous to get there, and once I get there, I'll be okay. But it's the first day of getting there. It feels like I have a job interview, and I'm nervous about the traffic and the heat. The first night was the Jumpstart program. The Jumpstart program is hopping on the Sportster 500. Is it the Sportster 500? I should probably double check that before I'm a mess. You hop on the Sportster 500, which is attached to a dyno, and the objective is to just get all the way through the gears and all the way back down. It was super nerve-wracking. So far, all I've managed to do is barely catch second gear on the Grom. So this was my first experience really shifting on a bike. I had the coach walk me through it the same way I would ask Birch to, which is basically just to stand to my side and walk me through the paces, give me steps. After my first time on the dyno, I wasn't feeling super confident in my skills. I went again for a second time and felt a little bit better about the process itself and just handling the controls on the bike. Once I got home that night, I was feeling a lot better. I was feeling more prepared and like I was really ready to crush this course. It is day 2 of the Harley class. Yesterday went well. As you can see, spirits are much higher. There's a lot less nerves going on today. Day 2. I was feeling so much better. I was so excited to get into the classroom, read the book, answer questions, ask questions, and it was a really fun time. Our instructor did a fantastic job. We got split into groups. My group was just having fun with it, which made the whole process so much easier. Took my knowledge test and only missed 2 questions. Then came day 3. Day 3 and 4 were all on the range, and we didn't know what to expect. And that's where the nerves really started to kick in. At this point, I've checked the weather at least 20 times throughout the day, and I'm noticing that it's gonna be extremely hot. All right, it's day 3. I have just arrived at the lot where we're gonna start doing our range training. I've been standing outside just watching the other group for a couple of minutes. I'm already so sweaty. It is literally 96 degrees outside today. That's kind of the only thing I'm worried about. My spirits are high for actually like practicing the course. There are some people in my group that have no experience riding. So yeah, we'll just take it as it comes. And again, today is just all about learning. Within about 15 minutes of arriving at the range, I knew it was gonna be a super hot day. I'm gonna sit in the AC for a little while, try and cool back down before it's really time to get out there. Probably won't be able to check in until the end of the day. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the day. Feeling good, really not too nervous. Maybe I'll be more nervous when I actually get on the bike, but for now, just more focused on that heat. Day 3 went pretty well. It started off by being assigned a bike, and within 10 minutes, we were already on the range. It started off exactly as Birch had shown me before in the video we filmed the first day of learning to ride. After finding the friction zone and kind of understanding the clutch on the specific bikes we were assigned, we ended up completing 7 different exercises for the day. In those 7 exercises, I managed to drop the bike once, as well as get yelled at for not going fast enough. I cried through an exercise today. I got yelled at for going too slowly. I dropped the bike once. However, my spirits were still pretty high. Do I think I'm gonna pass? Yes. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Even though I was feeling a little bit less confident. Day 3 went pretty well, but it was really starting to kick in, A, how hot it was outside, and B, how difficult this was about to be. I knew that the Harley was going to be much heavier than my Rebel 300, but I think I really underestimated how little we would be moving on the first day. Pushing around a 450-pound bike, pushing around a 500-pound bike in 90-degree weather is not a small feat, and I think it was really starting to get to me. Am I learning a whole bunch? Yeah, absolutely. But it is not easy. And day 4 is where it all went downhill. We were told to arrive at the range at 12:30. And if you didn't arrive at 12:30, you were kicked out of the class. Simple as that. So everyone arrived at about noon, and we actually got to watch the other group complete their course as well as take their test. Great insider knowledge. What we didn't expect was to stand out in 100-degree weather for the next 2 hours. It really wasn't until 2:30 where it was our turn to start the next 7 exercises we had to learn before taking our test that evening. About 5 minutes before we got started, I was already overheating. I had to go back to the car and sit there with the AC on. Well, we're here for day 4. We were told to get here at 12:30. It's currently 2 p.m. on the dot. You guys can probably hear I have the AC blasting. We've been outside
watching the other group do their test for an hour and a half. I'm already overheating.
I had ringing in my ears and I really wasn't feeling well as being just exhausted from the day before in the same kind of heat.
I have poured water all over myself and I cannot seem to get cooled down. I'm very concerned about the heat today and much less concerned about the test itself. We've got 7 more exercises to learn today, and then we have 5 exercises that we'll get tested on. Should be getting out there probably within the next 15-20 minutes, and fingers crossed that I pass my test.
Day 4, we started out in staging, which means all the bikes are lined up. And when I had arrived, I'd said to the coach, hey, today it would be great if I could kind of be in the back of the pack a little bit so I can watch everyone ahead of me before it's my turn to do the exercise. So we're all in staging, lined up. Everyone had gone and they were taking off into the first exercise, and I immediately turned my handlebars and dropped the bike. At this point, I was already frustrated from the heat and we hadn't even started yet. The coach came over, picked up the bike for me, and I took off again and I was fine. And then we got to the first exercise of the day, U-turns. I immediately was not feeling good about this. I tried it the first couple times. I couldn't really see the box. I couldn't really get instruction from the coaches because they were busy with everybody else, and I was really struggling. I think I ended up dropping the bike a second time, and this time I dropped it on the right side and the fuel started to spill everywhere, which is just a fuel overflow, but that made me pretty uncomfortable as well. Coach picked up the bike for me again, and at this point I was in tears. I was kind of feeling overwhelmed and like maybe this wasn't right for me. I wasn't ready to be there. And once I kind of had that mindset already in my head, I knew it just wasn't going to go well for me. Everyone in my class could see that I was struggling and they were all so nice. Everyone was encouraging me, telling me I could do it, to just keep going. But I got to the point where I felt like it was not safe for me to continue. I got really emotional. I got upset. I started to cry, and the coach looked at me and he said, hey, why don't you pull your bike over to the side, and when you're ready, you can jump back into this exercise. Well, it got to the point where I just couldn't get it together, and the coach came up to me and he said, listen, you need to jump back into this exercise or I'm not gonna be able to allow you to complete the course. And that's when I knew it was just time for me to walk away. By 3:45, I was on the phone with Birch. Devastated doesn't even begin to describe how I was feeling.
Well, I had to withdraw from the class. I just wasn't ready. There is a heat index of 107. That bike is way heavier than I was anticipating, and I just wasn't ready. I think I just need a little additional instruction from one of the coaches. I think I need to get more familiar with my bike and its controls, so I'm not so worried about that when I get out there. And I think I need to book my next class for some colder weather. My pride is hurt. I blew $400, but it got to the point where my safety was priority and it just wasn't safe for me to continue. I'm just heartbroken. I wanted that more than anything, and I'll get it. I'll be back. But when it's your safety, that comes first always. So
once I got home, Birch encouraged me to hop back on my 300 and just see how it felt while the course was still fresh in my brain. And immediately hopping back on my 300, I just felt like a different person, like all my confidence had come back. I could reach all of the controls, my clutch felt much more comfortable, and I literally threw it into first gear and went straight down the parking lot. I learned a lot in the class, but I was not ready. Even had I completed the course and got my license, I wouldn't have felt like I was road ready, skill-wise or emotionally. I had to remind myself of what I say all the time. Never let your fears stop you from doing something that you love and something you want to do, but always let it keep you safe. So I didn't get my endorsement through my Harley class. What's the plan? Well, I've ordered exhaust sliders, some little soccer cones off of Amazon, and it's just time to practice. I need to get more familiar with the controls on my bike. I'm also looking into other class options. The coaches reminded me that there are other classes out there that use smaller bikes than the Harley, so that might be an option too. The point of this video is to remind you that it's the same thing I said in the beginning. Not everyone is the hot girl who can jump on their bike and immediately be 100 miles an hour down the road. Sometimes it takes time. It's not easy for everyone. Everyone learns at different paces. I see posts all the time. Oh, I've been learning for 3 weeks and I went on a ride with my husband. Okay, but it's not that way for everyone. Sometimes these things are not as easy as everyone on the internet makes it look. I'm really proud of myself for walking away. Yeah, I blew the money and I didn't get my license, but I knew that it wasn't safe. There's way more learning that can be done on my own time first before I go ahead and take a class like that again. I really do want to get more familiar with generally the controls before I start swerving or making more U-turns. So get ready for day 2 of what it's like learning to ride after taking your Harley class. Leave a comment and let me know what your worst learning to ride day was. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And can you hear the crickets? Why? Like, can y'all shut the fuck up? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really hope that I like this. It's gonna suck if I don't. GoPro, stop recording. I said GoPro, stop recording.